everyone, Susan Ruth here. Today I'm talking with Tad Davis, expat American now living in Thailand. He was a mover and shaker in Los Angeles in the tech world back in the day, and he chucked it all in and decided he could live with 100 things. Well, 300 things, but who's counting? So off he went on a new adventure and a new life. It's an interesting story. Maybe it's your story. Here we go. Hi, Tad.
Hi, Susan. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well.
Thank you for being here in the outside that we're recording outside.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here in the world.
It's a rare, cool day during my stay in Nashville, so it's good. Yeah.
Is this cool, you think?
This is cool. I'm wearing a jacket.
I guess
Come on,
you
look
are.
at me. Yeah.
I guess you're used to Thailand being
This has been the whole thing, the whole trip here. Like, not only here, but in Florida. Every place I go that's air conditioned.
Oh, I know.
It's ridiculous for me. I mean, I'm freezing.
Yeah, that's why people get sick. You know, they go from the outside warm, hot, and then they come inside and it's really cold, and then they go back outside and your body's going, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
Yeah, well, that's how I felt. I got cold. I got sick the first week I was here, so.
Oh, you did?
Maybe that was it. I don't know if it was the flight, because it was like 20 hours.
Oh,
Yeah, to get from Tokyo.
There's nothing I want to do for 20 hours straight.
Yeah.
Not even sleep.
Well, that's where Xanax and red wine comes in handy. You know?
Yeah. Xanax and red wine.
Go to sleep just outside of Hong Kong and wake up in LA. So.
Xanax different than Ambien, right? Ambien's the one that makes you hallucinate.
Yeah, Ambien can do
really crazy.
Just sleepwalking and
which would be kind of exciting on a plane, probably. So tell the fine folks and
Hi,
myself.
fine folks.
Hello, fine folks. Tad lives in Thailand, but he did not always live in Thailand. You began your life in
Ohio.
Ohio?
The state with we have the most astronauts.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, Ohio. Yeah, I think the most presidents too. I could be wrong.
The most astronauts.
The most astronauts are from Ohio, or at least it used to be. Who knows? We have so many astronauts now. Wow. Because they send up all those scientists and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think that's changed. But I think back in the original astronaut days, there's rocket taking off in the background. Yeah. Apollo and stuff like that. I think we had the most astronauts were from Ohio.
Oh my goodness! I need to go to Ohio.
Yes, exactly.
I like science.
You and Lance Bass.
Oh, yeah, but he doesn't play for my team, so it won't do
me. Quit.
He quit my team?
No, he quit. He quit NSYNC.
I don't think he was ever on. No,
you know he paid the Russians when they were running out of money.
That's right,
he paid them a couple $1 million, and then he dropped out for health reasons.
Oh, well, yeah, I think it's pretty hardcore on you to go into space.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It definitely atrophies the muscles, and it's.
Yeah, for a week though. How bad could it be?
No gravity for a week. I don't know.
Maybe he just couldn't handle the G's or whatever. I used to think it would be nice to do it, but now, like, I'm 40, and sometimes standing up too quickly. Yeah. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah, although I would love to try one of those anti-gravity rooms sometime. I think that would be so cool.
What, you mean in the plane where they go up and down?
Or wherever it is, where you get to float?
Yeah,
that'd be so neat.
Yeah. That's diving.
Although I might vomit, I don't know. Who knows?
As most people do, is what they say.
Really?
Yeah, because your inner ear can't adjust.
Handle it?
Yeah.
Not enough Dramamine on the planet for that. Yeah. So, okay, born in Ohio, and...
born in Ohio. We moved around a lot. My dad was... his job, he was with a major hotel chain, so we moved all over the East Coast, a little bit in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Ended up doing high school in Florida. Don't do it. It's Florida. Ooh. Lovely state, I'm sure. So, and went to college in Boston, Emerson College. Jay Leno. That's the...
Did he go there?
Jay Leno went there.
But he was not an astronaut.
He was not an astronaut. He's letting the team down. Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about Miami, Florida the other day? I was noticing that the call sign for landing there is MIA. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Yeah. People go to Miami to get lost, and it is MIA.
Osaka is KIA.
Oh, goodness. That's odd.
Yeah.
Sort of strange.
Well, I think they run out of
letters.
Everybody gets the
best ones.
The best ones early on.
Yeah. Anyway, Seattle, where I'm from, is C, which is cool.
SEA, yeah.
That's a good one.
Easy. You always know. Like Bangkok is BKK, which I think is pretty cool.
It's a good one. Makes me think of hamburgers, like Burger King.
Burger King. Yeah, no, I never thought about it that way. Yeah.
Y'all can send me a check. All right. So you moved around. You went to
school in Boston. Wanted to be in the film business. Moved out to LA. Was in the film business for a short time.
And you made movies, or?
Well, no, I studied screenwriting and with the intention of becoming a producer-director. I went out there and I just took the first job I could find, which was set building.
Not porn.
But not porn. No, that was the last job I could find. It's like competitive porn. I'm kidding.
I think it is.
It is. Well, not for men. It's not.
No, I guess.
Men are a dime a dozen.
Although I think women are too. I just watched Rashida Jones's documentary.
That's a great documentary.
Oh,
Everybody should watch that.
Oh my goodness.
Oy. That's depressing watching that.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, so you got into the film.
I got into the film industry, just building sets for HBO.
That's pretty cool.
It was cool, but I felt I could do better, so I quit that. And
what do you mean?
Well, just that we were working 14-hour days, 6 days a week for $500 a week.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting, and did that for about a year. And so I decided to quit and look for something else. And I took what I thought was going to be a interim job at the House of Blues. They were opening up the new House of Blues. It was the corporate headquarters right on the Sunset Strip.
And what year was this?
This was 94, 95, I guess.
Uh-huh.
No, let's see. I graduated. Yeah, so around 94, 95. And I ended up staying at House of Blues for a number of years because I got into their. This was before anybody knew what internet was. Well, everybody had a basic concept of internet, but nobody knew what email was. It was before the World Wide Web was known by anybody.
Yeah.
And we had a guy.
You and Al Gore were hanging out.
Yeah, we were hanging out in the foundation room. It was this one of the guys on the staff talked to Isaac Tigert was the man who was also behind Hard Rock Cafe.
Okay.
And he had started House of Blues, and this.
So you were at House of Blues at the ground floor?
I was at the ground floor. Wow. I was a host. I was so
amazing.
Well, they had already opened 4 or 5 before.
Oh, okay.
But this was going to be the big one. This was the big deal with all the movie stars
in California,
and it was, and it was a big deal. It was an amazing time to be there on the early '90s on the Sunset Strip was insane. I mean, it was just crazy party all the time, and that was right around. Well, River Phoenix was one of the investors at House of Blues, and he died just a couple months before it opened.
So sad.
Yeah, and
what a talent. Sad.
Yeah. Well, his brother's done him good.
Yes, Joaquin.
Yeah, Joaquin's amazing.
Yeah.
And anyway, the guy I was working for talked Isaac Tigert into starting a new media division, which was going to deal with all this stuff called email and World Wide Web. And I said, I know computers, so I went in immediately corporate management. I had computers from when I was young, and in college we used some computers, but it's all the way. Ellen and I were talking about this. Ellen, our mutual acquaintance, trying to relate to kids nowadays, all the way through. When I graduated college, I was still working on a typewriter, and I would do research in a library. And I know these are things that
What's a library?
Exactly. People are listening to this. Yeah. Kids are listening.
Although libraries
that's crazy,
are still
Grandpa.
Magical places.
I love libraries.
Yeah.
I go to every library.
I'm a big fan of real books. You cannot sniff a Kindle, and I'm a book sniffer. I'm a book
books
sniffer.
Books do smell great.
Oh, God, especially old books.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So sorry for everybody out there in the audience who's sniffing their Kindle. iPod and not getting anything out of it.
That'd be a good invention, a scratch and sniff computery.
iPod case.
Yeah, it just sort of sprays out whatever scent. Somebody will.
It'll come.
Somebody will
happen
invent that
sometime.
for sure. So you said, I know computers.
I know computers, so we got into this. We did the second streaming video concert ever.
Who was it?
Spearhead, which Michael Fronte, I don't know.
I don't know who that is.
It was a charity event. It was really cool, but we did it 2 weeks to the day after the Rolling Stones did theirs. So, of course, they get all the credit.
Jerks.
We had the first ISDN phone line, or one of the first ISDN phone lines in Los Angeles, and it was, ISDN is...
Somebody out there is going to know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I have no idea what that means.
It's really slow, that...
Oh, the funny
This was
noise.
like the next step up, which nowadays people would call and complain if they had these speeds.
The sound that E.T. makes when he's calling home
on
the speak and spell.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's the one. But yeah, this phone line, it was, a hundredth of the speed most people have today, and it took up a whole closet of equipment.
Whoa.
Yeah, and with 3 guys to install it, and it took 2 days, and it was just ridiculous. Yeah. But we did all this fun stuff.
You can say
I can say shit on the internet? Okay.
Internet is okay with that.
Okay, cool. And so then I went along the internet route, and that was cool. And it was because it was
you fell into that.
It was also entertainment. Yeah, I fell into it, and this is just when it was taking off. I mean, literally, people did not. You'd say, I work on websites, and they say, what's a website? You say, well, I have an email address, and they say, what's an email address?
My gosh.
Like this, nobody knew this stuff.
You're not even that old, so that's
it's not that long ago.
It's really not.
It's 20 years, maybe.
How far we've come in such a short time is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's amazing, and in the way how fast things are now. This is what my phone can do in my pocket. I used to dream about. Someday maybe my children will be able to watch streaming video on their phone. Now here it is. So yeah, I moved from there. I went to. I left House of Blues reluctantly, but I got a really good offer from GTE Interactive Television, where they were doing the first, with your remote, you could play quiz shows and do all this kind of stuff. That was kind of fun, but it was really, it was a 1980s idea, but nowadays you would just laugh at it. Press A on your remote, press B on your remote. It worked pretty well, but I don't think it ever got out of the test market area. And then I got hired by AOL, Time Warner. Well, it was AOL at the time. And I don't, for those of you who aren't familiar, America Online, which...
People still use AOL, I think.
Do people still use it?
My parents are still on AOL. So.
They took my email address away from me when I left. I was really upset about that, yeah.
Oh.
So AOL... That was a dial-up service.
And it just... So you came in at the ground level of AOL?
No. AOL was well established when they hired me, but they were opening this Los Angeles division. They had actually bought a Entertainment Asylum, which was a website that was already putting entertainment content on the web.
Right.
And so AOL wanted to get into this, so they just bought this company outright. But AOL was, because AOL had its own... browser that lived on your computer, and you got all your stuff that you didn't go. It wasn't using websites. It was using AOL content.
Oh, sure.
So they didn't really know that much about the web. So I was the first. This is what they told me. I'm the first webmaster that was ever hired by AOL.
Oh my gosh.
Which was cool.
Your picture is probably there somewhere on the wall.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, I doubt it.
That's really cool.
It was really cool at the time. And they gave me a hell of a lot of money, because back then everything, internet was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So did that for a couple years. And the best part about that job, looking back on it, is here we were in Los Angeles, and a big part of my job was talking to people from movie studios and record companies and TV production companies.
And you could already speak that lingo because
Because I had the entertainment background,
sure.
and with the music stuff, I learned at House of Blues. And
what was that like to be in California, the boom of computers and making hand over fist money-wise? I mean, that must have been...
well, it was. I wasted as much as I got. You there's this. There's got to be a term for it, but you spend what you earn.
Immediately.
Yeah, immediately. It's like I was going out to stupid sushi every other night and stuff like that.
No.
So I mean,
you were keeping up with the
culture. I mean, out there, it's a culture.
It was pre-Kardashian, so keeping up with the Christy Brinkley's. I don't know. It was big in the 80s.
No, but everybody was. Everybody at that time in LA, like it was kind of a boom time.
Yeah.
And everybody was making money, so it's always. A
lot of cocaine.
Bigger car. No, I managed to dodge that bullet. We were working so hard because the internet business was also this thing where you kind of had to work all the time because like I was saying, big part of my job was convincing these record, TV, and movie studios to put stuff on the internet, because they thought we were nuts. They'd say, who's going to listen to music off the internet? Who is going to look on the internet to find out what's on TV? Who is going to, read movie reviews on the internet or watch movie trailers on the internet? They thought we were crazy. They humored us. They gave us stuff to, the same stuff that they were handing out to people at newspapers. So we'd have to scan in photographs and stuff. Like, nothing was digitized. And they thought we would be gone in a year. And so they just kind of, rolled their eyes and handed stuff over.
Please tell me that they gave you stock for the whole time.
Oh, I did get a lot of stock at AOL. That's what, at the end of the day. I mean, during this period, so it went from AOL was at the time when everybody knew what the internet was, but nobody thought it was going to last, to then by the time I left AOL had made so much money that they bought the largest media company in the world, Time Warner. Right. Which sent the stock through the roof, and was probably I think it's regarded as the worst business decision that was ever made in the history of business decisions. Yeah, because it almost immediately started faltering, because AOL, they had no knowledge of how to run a media company, and Time Warner, and they were both really inflated, and then the second bursting of the internet bubble happened, where everybody said, hey, this company is valued at $1 billion, but it doesn't make anything, which happened quite often.
Were you still there?
And I was still there when that started. Yeah, that was the thing. My, the stock, it went to really high when we bought AOL Time Warner, and then in the space of a year, it went really low.
Did you sell it before?
I sold at an okay time, but not at the best time. I have some friends who sold the day that they could, the day of the purchase, and they made out like bandits.
I bet.
But then again, they probably spent all their money too.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I've spent all that money. And,
so now you're at the kind of the heyday of California's internet stuff. You're going through the craziness. So then I got when all the value got lost, they started laying people off. And I got laid off. It was belt-tightening type stuff. Did you know that was going to happen?
Well, we kind of knew, because there was one round of layoffs and a lot of people left, and then we got wind that there was a second round coming. And we, at that point, weren't really producing that much, because we had established such a... Well, now there was competition.
Yeah.
Because before, nobody was doing it because they thought we were crazy, and later on, they saw how much... money and marketplace we'd taken advantage of, and so then everybody started doing it. So then it was competitive. So we weren't as busy as we used to be. So you look around and everybody's got their feet up and hanging out. Something's going to change, and it did. And I got laid off, and they were very nice about it, and I still got a lot of money out of it. And but then I didn't want to work because I was young and stupid. So I just kicked back, and I had a lot of money.
And you had a house and a car?
I had a house and a car. Well, I was still renting at that point. I should have bought the house I was renting. They offered it to me for $300,000. And
my God, can you imagine what it would be worth today?
It's worth about $2.5 million in the spot where it is, because it's in the Hollywood Hills and this and that. Yeah, there's a dozen. I was talking with my ex-girlfriend just a couple weeks ago. We used to, just for fun, go out on the weekends to open houses, and if we'd bought any of the houses that we looked at, it would have been, a great investment, because real estate is through the roof. Yeah, exactly. It's all shoulda, coulda, woulda. You can't cry over that.
So you're laid off. You're spending money. You're having a big time.
I'm taking acting classes. I'm directing classes, comedy classes. I was with the Groundlings for a little while. Cool. That was fun. That was a good time. Acting classes were great. I was at Playhouse West, which one of the instructors is Jeff Goldblum.
Wow.
One of their most famous. Jim Carrey went there.
Wow.
Not when I was there. Ashley Judd, yeah, and but James Franco is their number one guy. I think he's still
Well, he's a teacher amongst a billion other things that he does.
Yeah,
Renaissance
James
guy,
Franco, the man who doesn't sleep, I guess.
Yeah, he must not.
He must not,
no.
yeah. I see.
He's like my 7th grade art teacher who only slept 3 hours a night.
Really?
Mr. Lafayette, yeah. He only had 3 fingers in one hand. I think he probably was tired.
Well, yeah, when he lost the other 2. He was
guessing.
Chopping carrots.
James Franco
half awake.
is maintaining all his fingers so far, which is good.
So. That's...
So, wow, you're living it up.
I was living it up, and then I decided, and then I ran for Hollywood City Council. Which
and how old are
there
you
wasn't
at this
one.
point?
Then I was 33, something.
And you...
and I... Yeah, maybe 32. And...
City Council of...
Well, somebody had this bright idea. Hollywood's only a neighborhood.
I don't think a lot of people know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. It's like the most famous city in the world, and it's not really a city.
Yeah, see, I always figured that all the different parts are all their own cities, but you had mentioned earlier that...
Yeah, Los Angeles is like the biggest city in the world, like acreage-wise, I guess. You can fit... I found this picture the other day. You can fit like 12 major metropolitan American cities inside the boundaries of Los Angeles.
And so each of those little, like, Hollywood,
Silver Lake,
all
that stuff, except for like West Hollywood is its own city, which is really, Burbank's its own city, Pasadena its own city.
Okay.
But outside of that, everything's kind of, and Santa Monica, but everybody else is all lumped together, and Hollywood was putting $75 million per year into the kitty, more than it was getting back in services. So this idea came about, well, let's separate Hollywood. We'll put it up to a vote. We'll separate Hollywood, and then Hollywood will be its own city. We'll have $75 million extra dollars to spend on it, because I don't know if you've been to Hollywood. It's a little ghetto. It's changed a lot in the past 10 years. I was just there. It looks a lot nicer, but at the time it was pretty ghetto. And then we'll have a city council. And so they had on the ballot was, should Hollywood be a city, and if Hollywood's a city, who's going to be on city council?
Who gets to vote for that at that time?
Everybody in Los Angeles.
Oh my goodness.
That was the thing. And of course we're outnumbered, because Hollywood's a tiny little neighborhood in a big city, and they used, I learned so much about politics. Like the scare tactics were just out in style, and they're telling people who lived in Hollywood, oh, well, you're not going to get fire service. The police won't come. If, say, there's a natural disaster, the police from, Inglewood aren't going to come up to Hollywood and help you. And it was all bull.
Yeah.
But nobody knows this kind of... you're talking about California constitutional law and stuff like this. And nobody knows that. And so they get a flyer in their mailbox that says that they're not going to... You won't have firefighters. It's like, well, we're going to have $75 million more to spend on all this stuff than we do right now.
Yeah.
Which means including
fire
the money
police
that we are currently spending on fire and police. That's not going to change.
It's a good thing that they still don't use, scare tactics in politics.
Yes, that's right. I'm glad everybody has turned around, and now they only tell the truth, and everything's fact-based. That's really interesting coming back during an election year. Is how crazy this. Yeah. The rest of the world thinks we're crazy.
I know. We'll get. I want to touch on that as well, but so I want to keep.
Except for England, because now they
they
can't say anything.
Yeah. So you're running for council.
City council. So they said, should Hollywood be a city, and if so, who's going to be on city council? And I was one of the guys. I think there were 14 or 15 of us on the ballot. It was going to be 6 people on the city council. I came in 7th.
Oh!
Yeah, I know. But I beat Angeline.
Jolie?
No.
Angeline, the girl that's on
all the
bill with the boobs,
the boobs and the pink Corvette and all that stuff. Yeah, I beat her by a couple hundred votes, of which I'm very proud.
Absolutely.
Because she's famous. Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So that's my claim to fame.
Did Hollywood
and if I had only killed one other person, I could have stepped up.
Did Hollywood abdicate, or did they?
No, they didn't. They voted against it.
They did.
All the scare tactics worked.
As they often do.
And they were funded by the anti-secession campaign. Was funded by big well, I don't want to say any names, but big property developers. They got most of their money, and now you go back to Hollywood now, and you see all these new developments going up, and guess who's got all the contracts?
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah. Well, tale as old as time.
Yes, exactly.
So what did you do after that?
Then I needed a break. So I took a holiday to Asia. And I went to Thailand because I was told Thailand's the easiest place to start like a backpacking adventure if you've never been.
I have not been
to Asia on a backpacking adventure. Well, if you do,
yes,
start in Thailand.
Yeah,
because it's easy. They're wonderful people, really nice. It's really geared towards tourism, and it's a really beautiful, laid back, tropical country.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and I never ended up leaving Thailand in the 2 months that I was traveling.
Oh, see, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I was supposed to go to a number of places, and I never left Thailand because I was having so much fun. Next year I went back and I stayed for 4 months. And then the next year I went back and I stayed for 6 months. And
how were you? Oh, you had money set
I had
aside.
money, yeah, and I was wasting it.
You were flush.
I was flush. And but I wasn't so flush that I could afford to pay car payments and insurance and rent and all this. I'm back home in a place. This was before Airbnb. Like nowadays, I could just rent it out, sublet it. But so I decided, you know what? Let's take a grand adventure, cash out in the States, sell all my junk, and move over to Thailand.
Were you scared to do that? I mean,
it was terrifying. Yeah, but at the same time, I'd been there 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
I had established friendships. I had a good grounding, and I knew where I was going to stay at the beginning and stuff like that. So it was all irrational fear. I'm like, oh no, what if it all goes wrong? Which you could say that about anything.
I mean, I don't know if that's an irrational fear. I think that's a pretty...
Well, I could always just hop back on a plane, be back in America, and get a job at Starbucks, and life would go on.
They're okay with Americans coming to...
Yeah, they've got a lot of foreigners living over there. Expats. It's a little bureaucratic and jumping through hoopy.
Yeah.
But every time I get frustrated with it or complain about it, I brought my about 4 years ago. I brought my girlfriend at the time, who was Thai, here to America, and just for her to get a holiday visa
to come to America
was ridiculous amount of stuff on the American side.
Yeah, Americans are really
and for somebody Thai person to come here and live here, just ridiculous. All I had to do was fly into Thailand and get off the plane.
Yeah,
and that was it. And then I could change my visa afterwards and establish not residency, but like temporary.
We're not really big on letting people come in.
No, not just you can't just walk in. Yeah, especially now. Yeah. And this was post 9/11 when I was going over to Thailand.
Yeah. So you cashed in all your chips and I
sold my car, sold all my possessions. What I could sell. Craigslist.
That must have been so liberating.
It was. It was really
terrifying,
cool.
Liberating.
Yeah, I sent like 3 large boxes over to Thailand ahead of myself. But that was about it. And that stuff has since been lost. So
what do you mean?
Oh,
the stuff you sent to Thailand was lost?
Yeah, I had some friends who I went into business with, and their business was on somebody else's property, and when I was somewhere else, they had a falling out with the people whose business was who owned the property. Yeah. So they got kicked off the property, but the people who owned the property were very nice to me, and they said, "Hey, we've kept all your stuff. Don't worry about it." And then the next time I was back, I said, "Hey, where's my stuff?" They're, "Oh, it's around here somewhere." And then months go by and years go by, and eventually I see, a gift that I got from an ex-girlfriend is in somebody's bungalow somewhere on the wall, and but that was also liberating in that all this stuff I felt like I had whittled everything down to only the things that were the most important and most necessary. And then those were taken away. And life went on.
I think that's such a huge lesson in that. I think we're so... My parents, for example, they have, I think, 3 storage lockers packed full of crap.
Crazy.
I mean, they're old, come here and their whole lives are in there. But
being here now is just nuts.
Yeah.
Because I still have really minuscule amount of stuff.
Yeah.
I've even thought about, have you seen this thing on the internet? I don't know if it's on the internet or if it's... What's the internet? Yeah, exactly. Let me explain it to you. You want to advertise with us. The 100 things. There's this kind of philosophy, life.
All you need is this thermos and this remote control.
Exactly. Yeah. It's 100 things. They're saying just whittle your life down to 100 things. Just 100 material possessions. Go through everything you own and pick out the.
Does your house count
things.
as well? I suppose.
No, I don't. No, it's just material possessions.
Oh, okay. Just stuff.
Things you can pick up and move around. So, and including clothes. So maybe you have like 20 pieces of clothes. I have heard
about this. I think there was a guy on a podcast I listened to who was talking about this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've thought about doing it, but I think I'm probably down to 300 things, and I'm happy with that. Yeah. I don't want to... I kind of like that little bit of convenience, but it just goes to show you how little of this consumer culture you must have it now.
Oh, it's so...
We don't need.
It's such brainwashing. It's crazy.
People buying new cars every year or two, and...
Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
We're kind of, from the day we're born, we're told why we're not good enough, that we don't have enough stuff, why our stuff isn't as good as that guy's stuff, why we should look like this, or be like this, or own this. Or...
Well, nowadays, I think I find it even more insidious, and I don't think it's planned this way, but marketing has taken advantage of this, is... everything in news seems to me to be afraid.
Oh, I agree with you.
Crime's going down, but still, there's more murder reports on the news.
You don't think that's on purpose? I definitely think that's on purpose. I'm a conspiracy girl, though. I really am.
I think it's a means of control.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the marketing side of it is, this will make it better. This will make it better.
Sure.
Are you stressed? Anxiety?
Yeah.
I remember, 8 years ago when I came back to America from living overseas, and I'd only been living there a couple years, seeing every other ad on TV was, do you have nervous leg syndrome while you're sleeping? And so you buy this, and there were 2 or 3 different products out there to treat your nervous leg syndrome. What happened to that epidemic of nervous leg syndrome? Because I don't see any ads for that stuff now, but apparently it was like the worst thing ever happening. And it's just, if you buy this, everything will be better.
And nothing ever is.
Because
it's do you know who Chuck Cannon is? Songwriter. He's a hit songwriter in town. He wrote a song called God-Shaped Hole. And so you can't fill a God-shaped hole. In other words, we're constantly on the outside of everything trying to make ourselves, to placate and to soothe and to salve, and it's to go within. I mean, it's very Buddhist, and you have to go within and be like, you know what, I don't need this latest greatest thing to feel better about myself, but it's a real thing. I mean,
it is, and people are somebody's making a killing off.
When I was 20 and would get depressed, I would go shopping, and I would feel so much better. That high, it releases dopamine. I mean, it's an actual factual thing.
It's a hunting gathering.
Yeah,
they've tapped into that.
Yeah,
that's why I'm amazed so many shopping malls are going out of business. But now you can do it from. With your fat ass on the big couch.
Maybe they should combine the hunting with the shopping mall. So they release gazelle down the long stretch. You just shoot at them.
That would fill some of these
and
places.
And then go get a Smoothie King. That would be awesome. We've just solved the world's problems.
It's the homeless. See, you just hunt the homeless.
Oh,
we got plenty of them.
What movie was that? That was a movie.
There's been a bunch of movies about
very
that.
dystopian future where you hunt the homeless. Isn't that just... don't even get me started about...
it's
how
also
horribly we treat...
We're in this dehumanizing age with the social media, and you don't have to go anywhere. We were talking today about how kids don't really... It's not a big deal to get your driver's license.
Right.
Because they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they interact with everybody online. They don't ever have to... We used to walk 4 miles to the mall to meet our friends.
I used to ride the bus.
Yeah.
I was in Los Angeles.
What's a bus?
I had my credit card. I had some snafu that I had reserved this rental car when I arrived at the airport, and they wouldn't give it to me because my credit card had some sort of problem. So I had to take 2 subway trains and a bus. I had to take 2 buses and 3 subway connections to get from LAX to Hollywood, where I was staying with a friend. And it was fascinating.
Great people watching, huh?
Great. Well, not just that, but and this is something I've never seen anywhere else in the world. I saw 3 conversations between strangers started. guys, hey, are you a bartender? You dress like a bartender. Yeah, I'm a bartender too. Have you ever worked at blah, blah, blah? And they stood, yeah, on the subway.
I love that.
Guy with his bike started talking to me. I was on the phone with my dad, and he overheard me. He said, where are you coming from that you just got off the 12-hour plane flight? And we talked for 10 minutes.
Oh, God.
And I saw a bunch of people talking like that.
Do you feel like we're desperate for human interaction?
I think these people who are on public transport they're in it. They're living their lives. And every person all my friends in Los Angeles who would come and pick me up in their car, or they'd pick me up from the train station, for that whole week I just used public transport to get around different parts of LA. And they would all tell me how impossible it was to get around LA on public transport. And I just did it.
Yeah.
People do it. People do it all the time.
Sure.
But we can't.
Yeah. Well, we've been told we can't.
Yeah.
It's back to that marketing thing. We've been told that.
And only poor people do it.
Yeah.
I don't think my friends think that way. But yeah, your car's so much more comfortable.
Yeah.
You sit...
people in their cars are hilarious because they're like in a bubble of solitude. They don't realize that you can see them picking their nose and scratching at themselves.
Well, we're driving down the 110 freeway
I know, I've seen
to
people
San Pedro.
masturbating.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that once in a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's when 4G becomes a problem, I think. People shouldn't be masturbating in their cars. Talk about a distraction.
Even the Tesla, man, and drive you to work, you're just jacking it, man.
Well, I think about the self-driving cars. I say 10, 20 years at the most. It's all going to be self-driving cars, and then, people are going to be jacking it all the time.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably have a special thing in the car that's like
you can
close.
You can close all the windows.
Yeah. So you just sort of
it's protein rich.
There you go.
Maybe it feels the fuel cell.
There you go.
Yeah.
God, genius. We should
little
be in
puddles
a think
along
tank,
the highway.
Silicon Valley.
I just want to apologize to my mother right now for Susan's dirty mouth. If you're listening, Mom, that's great because you figured out how to work the computer.
Your mother knows my mouth. Trust me. I have been to many a family dinner at Ellen's house where your mom has been there.
That's all right. Let's not even go there.
My best friend Ellen is Tad's cousin, so
yes,
that's how this has all been orchestrated. So,
congratulations.
Talk about. I love me some Ellen. So talk about how.
I love Ellen too.
You're now in Thailand. You've become a
Thailand
person.
I moved over there. I did.
You have your 100 things or so, 300 things.
I had the best job when I moved to Thailand.
Doing?
Censoring European porn for Japanese import.
Pardon?
Yes.
Please explain that.
In Japan, porn is censored. It's it's
pixelated.
They're the kinkiest people in the world, but they don't. Maybe the Germans, but but they don't. They pixelate all the naughty bits.
Wait, that people are watching?
Yeah, You can go online and try and look for Japanese porn nowadays, and it's all pixel, except for export. Like, they can show it, but anything inside of Japan...
Oh, I didn't know that.
...is completely pixelated.
Wow.
So...
This is the place that sells panties and vending machines.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all that... I just came from Japan. I could tell you stories. But...
Maybe on a different podcast.
Maybe a different podcast, yeah. But this company from Europe, it's the largest porn company in the world. They make a lot of American porn, stuff like that. But they're trying to export European porn to Japan, and the Japanese were like, well, we can't buy it unless it's pixelated. So in Bangkok, it's just the bits. It's just the bikini area, shall we say, on both the man and the woman. Boobies are okay.
Boobies are okay.
Boobs are all right.
Everybody loves boobies.
Yeah. But any place that the
other stuffs.
The panacea or the
I don't know what that word means.
The coochie coo. None of that. All that's gonna be pixelated, but and I thought it was this is awesome. It's the coolest job in the world. They did it in Bangkok because Bangkok labor's cheap. But it's got internet, and it's a high-speed, technologically advanced city for the most part. And it's close to Japan, so they hired me. Craigslist once again. I found
you sat down in front of a computer.
Sat down, in one frame at a time, I pixelated European porn, and you would think.
Whoa! Did you masturbate at work ever?
No,
Liar.
no, because we're in a room. There's like 20 of us, so. Everybody's doing the same thing. No, it's the least sexy thing you've ever. It's watching porn a frame at a time.
Yeah.
is like watching a surgery.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it is. And you have to make sure it's all covered up. So you're looking at that stuff right up
cover
close.
With the little squares? Is that
you do it with Photoshop.
Okay.
You know, you just draw a circle and there's a pixelate filter.
Amazing.
Yeah. And
how much do you get paid for that, an hour?
Let's see, I made... Well, this is Thailand, so I think I made about $500 a week.
Still, that's a lot of
That's pretty
money.
good in Bangkok, but Bangkok was expensive.
Oh.
Maybe it might have been $500 every 2 weeks.
What
I can't even remember now.
crazy first job when you...
Yeah, it was nuts.
No pun intended. Anyway.
Yeah. It's...
oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, and so... But that was just... I have this little island that I live on, and it was one of the first places that I went when I moved to Thailand, or when I visited Thailand originally.
But where you live now?
And it's where I live now.
Yeah,
and it's the same place. But I thought I'd move up to Bangkok, make a lot of money in Bangkok with some highfalutin, at this point, porn censoring job. And then I'd save that money and move down to the island. Bada bing, bada boom. It doesn't work out. It's the same as Los Angeles. You spend what you make.
Yeah.
Bangkok's a big city. There's nightlife. There's
lady boys.
Lady boys. Yeah, I didn't spend.
Beautiful.
I didn't spend a lot of money on lady boys.
But they're beautiful.
They're better looking than the women most of the time. That's how you can tell them. If a Thai woman is really good looking, she's probably not
a girl.
Yeah, not a girl.
Or at least not born a girl.
Not born a girl.
Yeah. They're beautiful.
They
I
watched
and ladyboy is what they call themselves, right?
Yeah, ladyboy.
That's not derogatory. That's
no, that's and it's, I think it's Southeast Asian.
Okay.
Because
they're beautiful.
Yeah, that's all Southeast Asia. It's ladyboys.
And they have I watched a beauty pageant, a ladyboy beauty pageant, and I was stunning.
It's the Miss Tiffany pageant.
You would never in a billion years be able to tell that that's a guy.
It is national TV, that pageant.
Is it?
Yeah, it's prime time on one of the major networks in Thailand.
Acceptance.
Yeah,
we could learn a lot. Well,
it's not. Huh? It's a beauty pageant.
Yeah.
It's not. There's nothing salacious about it.
Of course.
And then there's the prostitution end of things, but ladyboys are out in public in Thailand. In Thailand, they don't, like, if a little kid shows an affinity for dressing like a girl, they say, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
And they don't. They have, transgender bathrooms. Crazy idea, I know. In schools. And these ladyboys are everywhere. They're working in 7-Eleven. They're working in
transgender in Thailand just by a fluke. I mean, it's very interesting. Or is it because it's such an accepting society? All the people, say in America, where we're so repressed.
This is somebody told me something interesting. Where the Thais are very accepting of transgender, they're not so open about gay.
Oh.
So, homosexual males, lesbian females, they view that as a phase.
Oh.
That
like college?
Like college, yes. And and if the girl goes on with it, well, okay, we lost her anyway. Because it's a very patriarchal society, so the man machismo is a big deal.
Sure. So homosexual men who identify as male?
Well, this is what a friend of mine has told me, is that the prevalence of ladyboys in Thailand, a lot of it has to do with but it's harder to be an out gay man than it is to be an out transgendered man. So there are gay guys who are very effeminate, and they'll do that extra little bit of dressing up so they can live openly in their chosen sexuality.
Sure.
And
that's really interesting.
Dressing like a woman makes that easier for them.
Isn't that
crazy? Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Someday we'll get to a point in the world where nobody will care about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll probably be another 1,000 years, and we'll probably all be dead by then, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we'll be dead for sure.
We'll be dead for sure. I plan to live forever.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think that sounds exhausting. It does.
I know.
I really do.
Probably. But living in Thailand, I'm going to live 10 years longer.
Yeah.
Because the stress is, they don't, it's about quality of life over there, not quantity of possessions. It's starting to creep in. Mm-hmm. Westernization and all that is starting to erode away this whole idea of, just live and be happy. You don't really need all this crap. But now we've got some of the largest shopping malls in Asia are in Bangkok.
Really? But Bangkok's not where you live. live?
I don't live in Bangkok. So
you live on a beach.
I did my time in Bangkok. This sounds like prison, but I lived in Bangkok for about a year and a half, and then I decided, screw this. I'm just kind of, spinning my wheels. I wasn't going back, but I wasn't moving forward. So, just decided to move down to the island of Koh Lanta, which is where I live. Right. It's a little bit off the beaten path, but it's really close to a couple of well-known tourist destinations. Outside my front porch, I have a house on the beach, and
what's the rent there?
$230 a month,
God.
And I can see Phi Phi Island. We talk Phi Phi, and there's a Koh Poo too for the children in the audience.
And Phi Phi Island.
Poo Island and Phi Phi Island.
That makes me laugh.
Yeah, no,
I am a 12-year-old boy.
No, we do
at
it
heart.
too. People say, I need to go to the bathroom. Do you have a ticket to Phi Phi?
To Phi Phi Island.
But I can see it from my house, and that's where Leonardo DiCaprio, the beach, was filmed.
So that's probably getting crazy.
You go there and it's you and. It's the most beautiful beach in the world or whatever, and it's you and 10,000 other people.
That doesn't sound like fun.
No,
I don't really,
Yeah.
I'm not big on the crowd thing.
I don't blame you.
Do they get to be topless?
No. Oh. No. The area I'm in is pretty Muslim.
Oh, interesting.
Really, southern Thailand is majority Muslim in a lot of places.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, my island is 80% Muslim.
Okay.
And
lovely people. I have some dear friends that are Muslim.
Oh no, they're great.
Yeah. In America we have this sort of idea that means you're probably going to be.
Yeah, that's. They had weird ideas about me when I moved down there as an American.
Oh yeah,
they were keeping an eye on me. Thought I was a plant from some government agency or something
you probably
like
are.
that. Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm blowing my cover.
So you went to Koh Lanta.
Yeah. And
you said, what am I gonna do? Now
I did nothing for a long time.
You're good at that.
yeah, I will. It's gonna
be
my prime skill in a couple of years. No, I started with filling people's iPods with music.
This is your job?
But that was my first business.
Oh, okay.
But that only lasted a year because then everybody started filling their own. Then we had the internet. When I first moved to where I live in my part of Koh Lanta, we didn't have internet, we didn't have telephone, we didn't have cell phone.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was. But it was also kind of a pain because if you needed to call somebody, you had to go up the island. But there was internet, but it was satellite internet, and you had to pay, so the equivalent of like a penny for every 10 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't that expensive.
Yeah.
But
sorry for that car horn in the background.
Yeah,
for all
somebody's
people
stealing
listening,
something.
It's probably going to go insane.
Yeah.
Now, they had modern convenience on this beach, right? I mean, you have
at that time they didn't, but now, we had electricity, sure.
All that stuff.
And
I'm thinking like South Pacific or something.
Oh, no. I mean, there were places that chose not to have electricity early on, but now we've got a 7-Eleven and I've got fiber optic internet in my little beach hut. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We've got everything. I've got 4G internet on my phone.
Wow.
All this kind of stuff. So and that happened just in the space of like 8 years.
Amazing. So you started doing the iPod thing.
Started doing the iPod thing, but then within a year, everybody had internet and everybody had iPhones. Oh. So they're downloading their stuff from iTunes, and they don't need to get it off a hard drive anymore.
Yeah.
But I got out of it right before that happened because it was boring. Watching somebody sit on your computer for 3 hours while they pick out the 5,000 songs they want is an awful job.
Yeah.
So opened a clothing store, also an awful job.
Oh.
Like watching people try on clothes, well, not watching them try them on, but, waiting for somebody to show up all day, and then when they show up, they.
What kind of clothing did you sell?
My girlfriend and I went up to Bangkok, and we would go, because Bangkok does have a huge, what would you call the industry? Fashion industry for export. There are a lot of young designers who will open up their own T-shirt shops, stuff like that. So you could go down there and get your average Billabong knockoff T-shirt from any place. But we went to young artistic designers and would buy stuff from them and sell that. So everything we had was different.
Yeah.
And one year we went to India and bought a bunch of stuff. hellhole. Don't never go to India.
Don't listen to them.
Apologize to my Indian friends, but yeah.
Again, I'm not big on the crowd, so I probably wouldn't.
That's
not top on my list. Although I love the Indian culture is fascinating to me, absolutely. And actually, one of my in-laws is
it's Indian. A fascinating culture. Now they just pee on it.
Oh,
all day,
there's a lot of people.
Yeah, but they can find a hole somewhere. I don't know. Oh, I'm not even gonna go into India. I just I'm not a fan. We went there for holiday, and I
did not enjoy it.
Yeah. I decided that, like, there's a reason that Gandhi came from India, because I've never wanted to kill so many people in my life. So that I can understand why the nonviolence movement started there out of necessity.
People are very grabby
and I don't mean like I don't like Indian people or whatever. It's just the way that the culture runs over there. It's just it's grating.
Yeah,
it's constant
if you're
noise,
used to being chilled out in Thailand, to go to India must be insane.
But I know people who love it, and God bless them. And I'm just not going back. And I love Indian people. I love Indian food. I just can't stand being in India. And I know a lot of Indian people who feel the same way.
Yeah,
so
sure.
That's why they're here.
Most of my Indian friends live here instead of in India, so they probably agree with you. Maybe, I don't know.
So we had this
clothing
store, and then my girlfriend, she is a chef and she has a restaurant. So I worked with her for her restaurant for a number of years, and then we parted ways. And
you and the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just working. Free advice for anybody: living and working together for 24 hours a day is not a good recipe for a relationship.
Yeah. Some people really love that.
Some people are crazy too. I don't know. It worked for a while.
Yeah.
It worked for a while, but it's just
So.
But we're good friends now, and we're happy. And right across the street from her restaurant, I've opened my bar.
Did that happen right away?
Yeah, within the space of 6 months.
Oh, okay.
I had to do something because I wasn't at the restaurant anymore, and the bar seemed
right?
like a cliche fit.
Oh.
Well, I had the building the whole time because it was the building that was originally the iPod shop and then the clothing store.
Okay.
Now transformed it into a bar, and that's been great. The Bad Penny, if you're out there on Facebook, look it up. I think it's thebadpenny.com. That's been really interesting. It's cliche, though. I think I put it off opening a bar for so long because an American who retires to a tropical island and opens a bar is
they make
such
movies about that.
Yeah, exactly. And but people come in and they're still, this is so cool. You run a bar.
Is it an Americanized bar or is it a?
Well,
it's
Americanized.
But I mean, is it like an English pub or is it like?
I think it's got a style of its own. It's kind of like a pub.
Okay.
It's the only bar in this area. Everything else is attached to a hotel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And either has live music or is a beach thing, and they do fire shows every night. And this is the only kind of bar.
Just a regular bar.
And I did it specifically for. There are a lot of people who are like me living over there, foreigners.
Yeah.
And they wanted a place to go where they weren't in the tourist crush.
Sure.
So it's
it's
all my friends. Yeah, so it's like a locals hangout.
Yeah.
And then we get tourists in. They bring in their customers because they're all working in different industries like restaurants or mostly scuba diving and stuff like that. And they'll bring in their customers who are, and we've got one of the top resorts in Thailand is just down the beach.
Oh, so you get their overflow.
Well, we get the people who are slumming. You know, these rooms start at like $1,000 a night.
Holy moly!
Yeah, they have rooms there that go for $10,000 a night when it comes with a private butler, and the Princess of Thailand stays there, and you know, I've seen Oliver Stone, and there's other people, but they never tell us who the celebrities are because that's what the celebrities want. Exactly. But you'll get people, you know, wealthy people who are looking for a real feel of the island, and they come in, and that's cool too. Yeah. And they're just everybody's
chill.
People are people.
It's like Cheers.
Know? Yeah, it is. Yeah. But it can be. I don't know if you've ever run a bar or been a bartender.
I've never been a bartender.
It can be rough. It's hard on your health.
Tiring. Yeah.
Well, no, it's the drinking.
Oh,
it's
you
constant
drink.
drinking.
You're
Yeah.
not Sam Malone. You're not the
No,
sober
I'm not Sam
bartender.
Malone. But Sam Malone is starting to become my goal. Yeah,
because he's sober.
He's
It's
sober.
That
He
character.
drinks. It's hard to do though.
Yeah,
it's really hard to do because everybody wants to buy you drinks.
Yeah.
So there's that,
The trick
and
is to
also
always have
everybody's
something in
having
your
it.
hand.
Yeah.
And have it be like soda
Well,
water
when
and
there's
lime.
a round of shots or something like that. Yeah.
You do that past your head
I
thing.
did that for a month this year. I didn't drink for a whole month, and that worked out well.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of ridicule from the friends and whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it was all fine and good, and it was the best I've felt the whole year.
Yeah.
Because it's in Thailand, you work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
It's like especially if you own your own business.
Which is ironic because you
tourist
said
season.
it's more chill.
It is more chill, but we're seasonal.
Yeah.
So we get 6 months within to make our money.
Oh.
So you got to make it.
Yeah.
But I think in the future I'm gonna just take that down to not 7 days a week, but down to 6 days a week.
Which day will be off?
Monday, because it's like a museum
You're like
for
a
your liver.
hairdresser. Yeah.
I think hairdresser's off on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's
cool. All right, so
about.
looking back now over your life thus far, what do you think is the pros and the cons of doing what you did, becoming this expat and just saying, screw it, sell all my crap, get rid of everything, and...
Well, that's a big pro. I feel like I've kind of, like we said earlier, liberating.
Yeah.
I don't feel so tied into this rat race. Alan Watts talks about this.
Love Alan
Watts. They hear kitty, kitty, kitty. In school, here kitty, kitty, kitty. You go up to the elementary school, and then they say, you do this well, and then here kitty, kitty. You go to high school, and then you go to university, and you graduate university, and you get a job, and you get a job, and then you retire, and then at the end, you've been through your whole life, and there was no that thing that you were chasing was never. You never got it, and it was never there, and it was all just, if you do this, it'll be better. If you do this, it'll be better.
Yeah.
So now I feel more like I'm just living my life.
Yeah.
I'm not chasing some
You're
manufactured concept.
Yeah, a dangling carrot.
Dangling carrot, yeah.
So, Ko Lanta, the Bad Penny, you're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook.
And on the internets.com,
yep.
right?
And single.
TheBadPenny.com.
Hit me up, girls.
Yeah. Unpixelated women apply.
Yes.
Thank you, Tad.
Thank you, Susan.
Yay.
This is so much fun.